Broncos are back?
Surprise, baby! The Broncos are back.
The Broncos are back, and we didn't even know that it was happening.
No, we did not. First day of training camp is when, Ryan?
Yeah, about 2 hours ago.
Oh, I thought it was Friday.
Everyone thought it was
Everyone,
Friday.
including fans.
Yeah. Maybe it's like when you're getting a shot. And they're like,
Yeah.
3, 2, bam. that was us today.
That's a way for Sean Payton to do it.
Yep.
Like, hey guys, just show up. We'll have a little ramp up on Wednesday, Thursday. We'll start on Friday. Psych. Put those helmets on Wednesday. We're practicing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Welcome into our training camp coverage 2023.
Let's go, baby.
The decision, right?
Literally, yes, the decision is Russell Wilson going to be on the team next year.
Yeah.
Literally Henry and RG, two crucial pieces of our training camp coverage, are like, yeah, training camp starts on Thursday, so we're going to come back from our vacations Wednesday night. Psych. Sean Payton got him.
And so we were there.
Yes, we were.
You and I were there baking in the hot
my
sun.
Goodness.
On the hill. Incredible grooming job on the hill by the grounds team.
I didn't know grass could be that thick.
So lush.
Yeah, incredible.
Truly, it's having its day in the sun, literally.
It's true. If your body hair is like that, call our friends over at Manscaped.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah.
So yeah, there we were, and then they just started practicing, and we can't talk about it.
Of course.
We think we're going to be able to once
we can
second training camp comes?
Yes, once the second first day of camp comes, we can talk about it.
Okay, first day of camp. So we can't talk much about what happened today, but there was a lot that happened.
Yeah.
And there is some stuff that we can talk about because there were several press conferences. I was there for half of them. You were there for all of them. So let's dive right in. What was your first big takeaway from today?
Really quick, you were there for the more fun ones.
Oh, really?
And the more important ones, yeah.
Okay.
Once it gets to the business guys, Damani Leach, Greg Penner, great people.
In this company, we call those the biz boys.
Yeah, the biz boys are boring. Biz boys, boring.
Yep.
Football, fun, friendly, family.
Nice. Faith.
Well, speaking of Russell Wilson, actually, you know what? Should we preview our training camp coverage?
Yes.
Little Russell Wilson tease. Everything we're going to break down Russell Wilson. How back is Russ? I'm looking at the graphic that you here made us. So there's the Let's Ride version of Russ. Bad. We do not want to see that. Danger Witch version of Russ, which is danger in a bad way. There's Danger Russ,
which is better.
Is better, but not great.
Yep.
And then there's
got the Prince haircut.
Then there's Mr. Unlimited.
We get to Mr. Unlimited. That's good.
And then there's Russell Wilson.
Russell Wilson. That's what we want, right?
Yeah.
We want Russell Wilson to be the quarterback of the Broncos.
Yeah, isn't that a weird ask?
Yes, it is.
It's weird that that's a crazy ask.
Last year we got Let's Ride Russ, and it wasn't great. Apparently that graphic's a little on the loud side. Yeah. That was shocking.
We're trying to shock people with this podcast, just like Sean Payton shocked us today by saying camp starts.
So my favorite thing about that sound is it kind of like perks me up in my chair a little bit because I've been in Vegas twice.
Oh.
I'm like, wait, are we gambling right now? Like, I feel so alive.
Russell Wilson's gambling on the field.
I actually had my first good experience at a slot machine.
Wow.
So like when I was a kid, all I dreamed of was just pulling that lever.
Yeah.
Like I actually went to Vegas probably more than the average kid. And like there is some things to do for a kid in Vegas, like hang out at the pool or whatever.
Yeah.
But man, you're leaving the pool, you walk through that casino, and you're just I always just wanted to pull that thing. And
the way Vegas is, it looks like it's meant for kids with all the lights and sounds.
Yeah, and you're like,
everything.
oh my god, this looks amazing. And I never got to, of course, until I turned 21, and then I did it once, and I was like, oh, that sucked. I just like, put $20 in there. I was like, ching 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 ching, gone.
Can I have that back?
Well, this last time in Vegas, it was like 2:30 a.m.
Oh, the great time to gamble.
Friday
Good
night.
Decisions are being made.
That's my favorite time to gamble.
Okay.
And all the tables started closing, which I didn't even know was allowed.
On a Friday night.
I was like, and I was trying to play Pie Guy, which is a little more niche. So like,
that's your game.
Yeah, it is. But like, I walked up to a full table and people are starting to pull their chips away. I'm like, perfect. I'm going to jump in. And then they were like, oh no, it's closing. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry. I thought this was America.
Especially Las Vegas.
Yeah, exactly. So then I was like, well, what am I supposed to do now? And the two of the buddies I was with from PHNX were like, oh, like, let's go play the slot. And I'm like, oh my God. And then I sat down, man, and I was playing this little game with these pandas, and I was playing this other game with these pigs. And I ended up winning like $100.
Wow.
And I was like, this is great.
By pure luck.
Yeah, 100%.
Yep.
Well, I don't know. If you tickle the pig.
Oh my gosh. Does it poop if you tickle it enough?
It just like makes a little sound. The goal is to like fill up the piggy bank so much that it explodes.
So you're tickling pigs at 2:30 a.m. in Vegas.
That's exactly what I was doing. And now that sound, I'm like, wait, where are the piggies at?
Oh my goodness. Yeah, here, can you bring some piggies in?
I can.
Thank you.
I was looking for an eagle sound. So like when you said it was America, I just go.
Yes. Anyways, back to the Broncos.
Back to Russell Wilson. We are allowed to show and talk about at least one thing about Russell Wilson. I saw him throw 2 passes. One of them was just like a completion to a trainer standing on the sideline. And the other one...
Oh, I saw more than that.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to get the full field and try to find Sean Payton, which actually took quite a bit of time.
Well, we're pretty far away.
Yeah, it's really true. So you're here. Can we pull up the one pass of Russell Wilson and tell us about what you were able to tell us about Russell Wilson?
Would you say that Russell Wilson was, quote, making it look easy?
He was.
Do you understand that reference?
No.
I think the people who are watching would understand this reference. Probably once I start telling it, you'd be like, oh yeah, I saw that.
Okay.
The other day, the Cleveland Browns Twitter.
Oh, yes. Oh, that's what your quote tweet was to me. I was like, what is this?
The Browns Twitter account showed a video of Deshaun Watson, basically the distance of you to me, actually like me to Yaya, away from the net, hitting the middle one. And they put it out, making it look easy. Deshaun's making it look easy. So if that was impressive to that person, this would probably blow their minds. Knock their socks off. What is going on with that video?
I don't know.
Isn't it going in reverse? Okay, here we go. Wow, that is the grainiest. I like how you were able to take pictures on like a high-speed camera, and this is just the frames put together.
Yeah, that's exactly it. My fingers are going really fast. Look at Davis Webb just tossing it back to him. But this is Russell Wilson dropping back, steps up to the pocket, and hits the target in the middle. What are we talking? 8 yards? No, that's 10 yards away.
Channeling his inner Nathan McKinnon, hitting the back of the net like that.
It's very, very true. So that's accuracy from Russ. That's seeing the middle of the field from Russ. That's not missing KJ Hamler at the end of a game when he's wide open in the middle of the field.
Yep, absolutely. I think we should probably give him 5 out of 5.
He's Russell Wilson today. Let's go, baby. Let's go.
Don't play that video again.
What a great start. Because last year...
Fine.
Dang, you're trying
People
to hide it.
People are freaking out.
Yeah, geez. Last year, remember what Russ was all camp? We had a different scale. It was 1 to 5.
Yep.
What was he every single day?
3.
A 3. Mid. Average. Oh, it was brutal to come in and talk about that. Today, 5 out of 5 of the 2 throws we're able to talk about.
Yeah, Ensign Prime said that was mid. I don't know what you're talking about. It's probably the best throw I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, incredible. I mean, that would be worth 7 points if he threw that from 10 yards out.
Yeah, you've got like Montana in the Super Bowl, the catch right in the back, and then I would say that.
Wow. I agree. I mean, did you see just how easy it was to get out too? I mean, get in, get out, start quick.
Yeah, Charles Kelly, the Buffs defensive coordinator, dropped a new term that I'm going to be adopting, which is hand talent.
Okay.
He was like, arm talent, that's like arm strength or whatever, how electric your arm is. Hand talent is about how accurate you are. So that's hand talent right there.
Isn't that like arm talent too, though?
I don't know. It sounds good to me, though.
Hand talent.
Yeah.
He's got some good hand talent.
Hand talent off the charts.
Might have to ask Sarah about that.
Oh wow. Yeah, maybe.
Hey, you put me in this mood before the show,
I
to
did.
be fair.
Yep. It's not my fault training camp came early.
Yeah, it's very, and we're happy about it too.
We are happy about it. Okay. You want my biggest takeaway of the
I want
day?
your biggest takeaway.
I've got two big ones, and they're very different from each
I
other.
think I know one of them.
You definitely know one. You don't know the other.
Oh,
Javonte Williams
yeah. That's not the one I know.
is a witch.
In a good way.
In a good
Yeah.
if this was like, I don't know, the 1800s,
Yeah.
Javonte Williams, they
Yeah.
would be like tying rocks to him and throwing him at like see if he sinks.
Yeah, they'd be trying to kill him because they'd be too afraid of his powers.
No one heals like this.
No.
And Javonte Williams, look, we got to see what happens when they go full contact and all that stuff. But Javonte Williams is back.
Insane.
I think I'm allowed to say this. I saw him make a cut while running today. Like
You can say that.
like he's back. He's really running.
Yes, he is. And he is in line to be the week 1 starter. I think that's fair to say based off of not being on the PUP, what we saw today from Javonte. Incredible. Now, the Broncos are going to take it slow with him, which is smart. If Sean Payton would have said anything else, like, no, he's ready to go, 100%, that would have scared the crap out of me because it just would have been like, okay, I know he's back, but there's no way he's 100% back. So I like to hear that they're going to give him days off. There's going to be days where he's limited. But Ryan, it also sounds like there's days that he's going to be full go, which is huge. And it was a limited practice today. There were no pads on. It was a little bit of a walkthrough, and then they were doing some team stuff, which was what made it a first full practice of training camp. But Javonte was out there pretty much doing everything with the team, and this is before the 10-month mark of his injury. These injuries are typically around 18 months. There hasn't been a lot of them, so not a big sample size, but about 18 months recovery. Javonte Williams is cutting that in half right now.
What the hell?
It does not make sense.
I'm giving him what I like to call a pre-nickname.
Okay.
He still has to earn this one.
Okay.
But I'm just like...
Is this like a prenup?
kind of.
You write it before and you can take it back if it doesn't work and like no shame on you?
Yeah, it's just like I'm putting this out there and he has to just like attach himself to it. But it's next to his name right now.
Okay.
The Miracle.
Oh.
If he comes back and just like balls out this year, he's the Miracle.
Yeah, I like that. Because it would be a miracle. In fact,
It
what
already
he's doing
is.
right now is a miracle. And you're saying he has to stay attached to that. He has no problem staying attached to things. Those 3 ligaments are clearly extremely attached after this surgery.
I just don't even know what to say. I feel like I was lied to at some point, but I'll just accept it and say, all right, he's a miracle.
And the thing is, Sean Payton today made it very clear, more than he ever has before, he's not talking about injuries unless it's a good one.
Yeah.
And because Javonte Williams is a good one, he said he's progressing well. We're really thrilled with where he's at. We've been thrilled with where he's at, and it's all credit to him because he's put that work in. And so when then you hear him asked about other players that are injured, and he says, not talking about these guys. And then someone comes up with a follow-through, a follow-up question with it, and he's like, did you not just hear me? I'm not talking about these guys.
Well, it was actually
Next question.
It was actually the same person.
Oh.
Asked 3 in a row.
And what do we think Sean thinks about this person?
I'm just like, man, you're really just trying to put yourself in a bad position on day one, huh?
Trying to poke the bear, like
just-
pre-day one almost.
Like, sometimes coaches and players need to be pressed, right?
Yep.
I don't think Mike Purcell's injury is one of those things where you got to press and poke at the head coach on the first day of training camp.
If it's Javonte, sure, I get it. But thankfully for Sean Payton, it's a good injury, so he's willing to give us that. And there was a bad injury.
Okay.
And that we need to talk about. But first, I gotta make the vibes good, ending off a good note. And the vibes can be good over at Breckenridge.
Before you kill them to start the next segment?
Except, well, you got to have a drink in order to comprehend what we're about to tell you next, and that's a drink with Breckenridge Distillery. We love Breckenridge beer. We also love Breckenridge Distillery, the official bourbon of the Denver Broncos. And
the DNVR Broncos podcast.
And the DNVR Broncos podcast and DNVR. It's the world's highest distillery, and it's distillery. We're not talking about like weed here. But it's literally the world's highest distillery.
I see what
founded
you're
in
saying.
2008. It's most widely known for their blended bourbon
Kind
whiskey.
Love is the world's highest dispensary.
That's exactly it. Yeah, dispensary, distillery. This one is great bourbon. In fact, award-winning bourbon. Like I said, they are the official whiskey of the Broncos, bourbon of the Broncos, and they've won 3 Icon of Whiskey and 9 winners of Best American Blend. It's everywhere. You go to a liquor store, you see it. You see the Broncos logo on some of their things. It's orange and blue. They embrace everything about Colorado because they are founded in Colorado in 2008. So make sure to support them. And you can do it not just in Colorado. 50 states it's available, and you can shop their local retailer. Wow, that is all of them. Yeah. That's impressive. Did you see the mistake that was found in Oppenheimer?
No.
There's a scene in Oppenheimer which was based in like 1946 when I think there was
Take your word for
49 states.
Okay.
And there's flags with all 50.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. Can you believe that? How shameful that is.
I love when people point that stuff out in movies.
See, I hate that. I'm like, do we really need to focus on this?
I love that.
Fire Christopher Nolan, worst director of all
Yeah,
time.
exactly. People are coming for him, man.
Was it Mace who found that?
It probably was. It probably was. I mean, he had the binoculars to see it today.
Yeah.
That's for sure. But Christopher Nolan probably needs Breckenridge Distillery, glass of that after that mistake. And you can check them out, BreckenridgeDistillery.com, to find the award-winning spirits.
Hell yeah. What else we got?
Bet365.
Breck 365 is the story of my life. It's actually my autobiography. Bet365, man. That place is so awesome.
My goodness.
So many great options, including a great deal when you use the code DNVR365. Yeah. What is it, Zach? Bet 5, get $200 in free bets?
Even better. Bet 1.
My God.
$1 to $200.
Bet 1, get $200 in free bets with our friends over at Bet365. And there's so many options. And hey, if you're starting to feel the good vibes about the Broncos, Javonte's being back. Maybe you want to go over there, get in on that win total, 8.5.
I'll tell you what, Bet365 is loving the Broncos right now. Literally, maybe it's because I'm in Colorado, they know it, or maybe it's just because they love the Broncos. They've got like 5 boosts on the Broncos right now, just literally at the top of the screen.
Wow. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go. I'll tell you something in a second. But get over to our friends at Bet365. Use that code DNVR365 and get in on that incredible deal. Bet 1, get $200 in free bets.
The vibes are too good.
Team.
Oh, yeah. Women's World Cup tonight.
Yes, so bet on them.
I know.
They got to be the favorites, right?
I'm bummed I'm going to be missing a huge pickleball match.
Ah, yes. We know about your Volo pickleball tournament now.
Yep. We'll see how it goes. I've got Eric to come be my partner tonight. Eric.
Are you comfortable about it?
Low key. Like, I don't want to assign him titles that he might not have.
You're about to.
But he's like, I think, if not actually, almost a state champion tennis player.
No way.
Yeah. Like, made the finals, maybe.
So he hasn't. You guys have no excuse to lose tonight.
Yeah, except for the fact that he's never played before. And
well, you said you're really good at ping pong, and he's really good at tennis. So
he's
you're
even better at ping pong.
Wow. So you're mixing those games together. You should win.
Yeah, I expect to win, but I expect to win everything all the time.
Well, that sounds like Sean Payton's message to the Denver Broncos, because that's kind of what we found out today. That's his message: is winning is the most important thing, and we need to do everything in order to do that. But before we talk about more of that, Ryan, and before we get into the bad news, because the vibes are just too good right now, how was your lunch?
Okay, here's the thing. No free ads, but
today was the media barbecue day.
They can't call it that anymore.
Oh, no.
If I said, let's just put it this way. If I said, Zach, why don't you come over for a barbecue? I'm having all the homies over. We're having a barbecue.
Hell yeah, baby.
At my house. What kind of food are you expecting?
Oh, I'm expecting a lot of meat. Maybe 4 different types. You're going to have some sausage there, spicy
Probably
sausage.
At least 2 different types of meat in a cylinder.
Yep, exactly. And then you're going to have some pulled pork.
Ooh. At least burgers.
Yep.
Burgers and dogs would be the bare minimum.
Yep. Oh, it bare minimum. Yeah, with some buns as well.
So if I invited you over for a barbecue and then I just had a giant platter of chicken nuggets, you would be confused.
Well, I'm gonna also need coleslaw. I'm gonna also need potato salad. I'm gonna need chips.
Nope.
So you're telling me it's meat without anything?
I hope that if anyone from the organization hears this, they know that we're just giving them shit.
We are so grateful for any free food that we get. But the funny thing is, so every year that I've covered the Broncos, which this is our 8th training camp, and they have a media barbecue to kick off camp. And the media barbecue they cater some local barbecue place, and it is incredible. It's amazing. This year, they did a little different. They brought us Chick-fil-A.
Yep. No free ads, but we also believe in
yes.
transparency.
You're right. And it was a ton of chicken nuggets.
Which, honestly, in a vacuum,
it's great.
Great.
Yeah, great. Sauces were included.
Yep.
And then
Sauces went quick, though.
mac and cheese went quick. Wasn't able to get it. How was it?
I didn't have any.
Okay.
I'm on keto.
So then the
chicken nuggets were kind of bending the
yeah,
rules.
because they're breaded.
But at least I'm staying away from just the straight carbs.
So then you didn't have a cookie either.
I did not have a
Yeah,
cookie.
didn't
either.
have
So
it. I didn't have a cookie either.
It was a one-track meal for me.
That's it, me as well. That's what we both had. And then Greg Penner comes up to the podium, and I have no idea if he knew what our meal was, if he knew what past meals were, but he goes, happy to see you all back. I hope this, the meal, I don't know how it stacked up to last year's meal, but I hope it was good. And it was, I have no idea if that was a joke or not. I don't think anyone knew if he knew it was a joke, so no one laughed. It was like, oh, yeah, thanks for the food.
Yes. So again, the food was actually delicious.
Yes.
But here's the other thing. Barbecue. If I invite you over for a barbecue, what do you expect the setting to be?
Outside.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, you didn't expect it to be in the basement, right?
No, a windowless basement?
Yes, exactly.
A bunker?
So our media barbecue this year was a platter of chicken nuggets in the media room.
Yep. And as Alex Roberts in the comments says, no baked beans? I mean, if they would have brought baked beans from any establishment, and that's it.
Just a big old pot of baked beans. Honestly, I would have been fine with that too, except it doesn't fit the diet.
Oh, that baked beans definitely don't fit.
It was, again, I hope if anyone's listening to this, they know we're just screwing around.
Yes.
But it was fun. It's a funny, a funny contrast. And I was told today, I never knew this. And this is like classic. Like everything was cooler for media like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
It used to be the media barbecue was at Mike Shanahan's house.
Are you kidding me?
Literally, everyone's invited over to Mike Shanahan's house for a proper barbecue.
That is, and he's got like his own chef just literally smoking the meats
or maybe
next to the
he's
pool.
like grill master.
I could see it. Man, that would be so cool. Mike Shanahan just seemed like he had the most interesting relationship with media. Because I've also heard he would not be afraid to MF them.
Well, I was going to say, how maybe certain people that that work with media know exactly how to toe that line with hey, buddy, you're doing a great job. And then like, hey, what the fuck do you think you're doing? I think that came from Mike Shanahan.
Yeah, I probably did. And who the most prominent person you're talking about knew Mike Shanahan.
Yes,
so that's
exactly what I'm talking about. So yeah, we went from Mike Shanahan's house to honestly like a fun little gathering outside.
Yep.
To nuggets in the basement.
Nuggets in the basement. Man, that actually sounds like a nice thing in February. Like you come over to watch Nuggets in your basement.
Yeah, I was thinking that. I was like, maybe this was like a subliminal championship message. Like, we're Nuggets now.
Sean only serves Nuggets to
look at us.
The
we're
players.
the Nuggets now.
But to me, that sounds like kind love Nuggets in the basement. Watching the Nuggets.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense.
That's what it feels like.
If you're at home and you're one of those people who DM me that's like, hey, I'm trying to get into media. How should I get started? There's your idea. Nuggets in the basement. You eat chicken nuggets and you smoke weed and you talk about the Denver Nuggets. That might be your niche.
I'm sure there's probably already that out there.
Maybe.
I think so. Eric asked, any adult beverages? Could you imagine if they just had a full bar top shelf with nuggets served?
Would have been amazing.
That would have made the questions pretty interesting. But like I said, Sean Payton would not have liked one question.
Speaking of RIP to the one press box I've ever been in that serves beer is in Santa Clara at Levi's.
Yeah.
And the beer they always served was Anchor Steam.
Great beer.
It's no longer.
No way.
Yeah, the brewery that makes it went under.
Wow. Man, that's a shame.
RIP, because that was a really good beer.
So I wonder if the 49ers are still going to serve beer.
I don't know.
Damn.
Hopefully another place steps up.
Maybe the Broncos will step up. But a question Sean Payton would not have liked is, how's Marvin Mims doing? And that was the only negative injury that Sean actually talked about. And he didn't talk about it much, but Marvin Mims had a hamstring tweak during the offseason program near at the end, so he didn't fully practice near at the end of OTAs. And then he wasn't practicing today, Ryan. It was like, well, is this just a continuation of that? Hamstring injuries for a receiver? It's not the most uncommon thing for those to last for a while. We found out today, Ryan, that nope, it's a different injury. Different hamstring, And it seems like Marvin Mims injured this fairly recently, maybe getting into shape. We don't know that, though. And Sean said he'll be back he'll be 100% ready to go the next couple of days or within the next week.
That's what didn't hit right for me. Because he was like, yeah, Marvin, he had another little injury while he was working out. He'll be back, 3, 4, 5, maybe a week. And I was like, no, if you would have just said, like, he'll be back in the next 3 days, I would have been like, okay.
Right. Yeah.
But I hate this stuff. I hate it. I hate that I've done this now so many times that I'm just like, heard that one before.
Yeah.
And I hope that it's just different.
Right.
And it, of course, always can
be. Yep.
But I'm on, like, high alert anytime a guy's not there the first day. And I'm on high alert anytime there's not a clear timeline.
And another reason is because we had this with a former second-round speedster wide receiver.
Don't do that.
Just a couple of years ago with KJ Hamler.
Yep.
He had a couple of injuries kind of in the offseason with his hamstring, then got another injury as a rookie during training camp, and that really set him back. And I just really hope that's not the same thing. I don't think Marvin Mims has a history of hamstrings, so this could honestly just be like he has 2 hamstring injuries in a 10-year span, and they both just happen to be within a 2-month period. So that's what's giving me the most hope with this. But especially, we talked about how Sean Payton's not going to rush Javonte Williams back. One of the big reasons why he said he's not going to rush him back is because he's coming back from a major injury. I hope they honestly treat a slight hamstring tweak as a major injury for a wide receiver, because if Marvin Mims sits out all of training camp, is that ideal? Of course not. But if he's actually 100% when he comes back, that's way better than trying to force him to come back and then they're set back. So that's something we're going to watch. Especially I'm going to watch, because I think Marvin Mims has an opportunity just a couple games into this season to break in as number 3 receiver on this team. By the end of the season, be the number 2 receiver on this team. I think he can be that big, but you got to be available.
And I just don't think people can quite understand how important training camp is for a rookie.
It's true.
And honestly, even the offseason program is so important for a rookie. There's 13 practices between now and the end of training camp. Now, there's also a few more practices, of course, before the season actually starts.
Right.
But there's a finite amount of time to, like, learn the playbook, go execute it, get on the same page as, the quarterback. I just liken it to, if you miss the first 3 weeks of school,
you're gonna have some bad dreams, by the way.
yeah, like even if you miss like the first 2 days of school, you walk in and like
Toast.
you feel like everyone's on mile 3 of the marathon when you're starting it.
Yeah, there's already clicks and
Yeah, exactly. So like you don't want to miss this, and I'm just crossing my fingers that he's out there as fast as possible, because the more you miss, the harder it is to get all the way back. And there's going to be a play that they installed that, sure, you got to watch, but you haven't got to run it.
Right.
And you might not get to run it until it's called in the game.
Yeah, 100%. And this training camp is going to be so different from anything we saw last year. Sean Payton, we can already see it day one when this is considered a ramp-up period, Ryan. The practice was only an hour and a half long. That's the longest they could have gone today. It's the longest they can go tomorrow by NFL rules. And you can already tell that in a ramp-up period, this is going to be an intense training camp. We've talked about it. Sean Payton's doing small stretches, but they're going to be intense stretches for this team. We saw him doing full sprints out there today in some kind of footwork drills, but these guys are moving. Sean Payton's working them, and so they're going to get tons of plays in. You just don't want to miss any time at all. So it's just going to be huge, and that's another huge takeaway, is just how intense this training camp is going to be with Sean.
I love it. I think that Sean Payton's number one goal, if I was the coach, my number one goal of this training camp would be to toughen up this team. In every facet. They're not tough.
And they haven't been for a while.
They haven't. Like, last year, this was a team that got punched in the mouth, and the defense honestly had a pretty good chance of getting back up. The offense, it felt like once they got punched in the mouth, they were down for the count.
Done.
So they need to get tougher. And I think Sean Payton knows that, understands that, and is going to embrace that challenge of toughening them up.
Yep, and that starts with intense practices. It starts by maximizing every single minute that he has. When the Broncos can have 2.5-hour practices are going to be 2 hours and 31 minutes. I mean, they're going to be pushing the limit with everything they can do. Ryan, it's going to be 99 degrees out. And these guys are going to be out there. It's probably going to be 91 at 10 a.m. when they're practicing.
It gets hotter on that grass, though.
Oh, it does. It's going to be hot. And we talked to Steve Atwater today, and he's like, come on, this practice is easy. But this is going to be the hardest that NFL rules allow.
Yep. And that's good.
Yeah, it absolutely is.
I hope everyone stays healthy because I've always been more of a proponent of make it easy on them, make sure everyone's healthy going into the season. I just don't think that's a luxury that this team can afford anymore.
Oh, so now you care about health. Yesterday we weren't allowed to put health in a storyline, but now you want to follow health as a storyline, huh?
What?
Wow. Well, okay.
So pressed for no reason.
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
I'm not pressed. I'm good.
What I'm saying is now I remember. I just black out during the shows.
I know. It happens.
And
Yeah.
I'm like, what are you telling me I said yesterday? They don't have the luxury of saying, like, let's just make sure everyone's healthy, get to the season. They have to use iron on iron and sharpen up.
Yep. Ooh, man, that sounds like that'd be a Vic Fangioism. Would that be
It's actually
Vance?
a Kubiakism.
It's a Super Bowl winning saying, actually. Because that's the same year
you're
they
right.
won it.
Iron sharpens iron. Yeah. Speaking of, DeMarcus Ware was talked about a lot today.
I was
since
thinking
he's
about
going
him
into
too
the Hall
when I
of
said
Fame.
that. Yep.
Yeah.
Shout out to Marcus, man. He was just like an elite locker room guy.
He was great dude in
Yep.
general. And actually, speaking of isms, he was like the king of wrong isms, and I'm just trying to follow in his footsteps.
It's true. He just would get him like one word or maybe even one letter off.
But be so confident, he just roll right through it.
Yes. Yeah, he would be like, iron sharpens aluminum.
What?
That'd be fitting for this team.
So anyways, all right. I have two more big takeaways.
Okay.
First, this is my 8th training camp,
Oh,
which makes me feel very old.
yeah, you are old.
And I went through it and I started counting, and it was so depressing. 5 coaches in 8 training camps.
Can you believe that?
And then, you know what? Justin Simmons got up on the podium, and I started realizing this is his 8th training camp. And he's had 5 coaches as well.
Yeah.
And coaches are so weird and so quirky. And each one of them has their own set of beliefs and their own set of phrases and their own set of pillars that they try to install. And I just don't think any one of those guys has ever even gotten off the ground floor of trying to build those pillars.
Outside of Coobs.
Coobs, it's just such a different situation. He walked in and won a Super Bowl.
Right.
And I think, like his identity and the things that he wanted to do certainly infiltrated the team. But really his job was just to like be a great coach.
Right.
And in terms of just like between the lines.
Not necessarily, I see what you're saying,
He
not
didn't have to
creating
build
an
anything.
organization.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No one else has even gotten down the foundation before things started to spiral.
Yeah.
Like you think of Vance Joseph. Remember, by week 17, John Elway had to sleep on it. That's year 1.
That's brutal.
Vic Fangio goes 0-4 to start his career as the Broncos head coach. The wheels are like already off.
How many sacks in those 4 games?
0.
Yeah.
After that, you're no longer like brick by brick by brick. You're just like, oh God, I've got to scramble to save my career.
Yep.
And, whatever, he ends up staying here for 3 years. Was it 3? Yeah.
Yep.
And then, of course, Nathaniel Hackett, from the second they settled for a 64-yard field goal, the building was over. You don't get to build when you're in panic mode.
That's a good point.
And I was thinking about Justin while he's standing up there, and I'm just like, how many fucking isms has he had to listen to from these different coaches trying to, install their thing? And I just have to imagine it's so tough as a player to be like, oh, here we go again. Like, I know it's Sean Payton walking into that locker room. It has a different cachet to it.
Yeah.
But when he's doing whatever thing that he does to try and like pound, I was telling you at practice, like Coach Prime's thing is smart, tough, fast, disciplined with character. Whatever Sean's version of that, like the compete streets of the world, it's got to be so hard as a player who just hears a new one every year to like buy in. And so I hope, and I'm confident that Sean Payton will have a different experience, but none of these coaches have had really any chance to install their culture because they've all been in scramble mode from day one.
And one of the things that we kind of learned about that today to play off of that, Ryan, is that there's not a win the West slogan that everyone's rallying behind like there was last year. There's not all these other slogans.
Are you seeing this?
Our producer here has, what is it, 400 ounces?
40-gallon jug?
I mean, it's hot today, but you'll be okay.
I've never seen a vessel that large.
You know what I also saw about you here earlier? He's taking it out, but he has headphones on to listen to us. You know what he had under those headphones? He had
AirPods?
earbuds in order to listen to something else to drown us out.
I was working and I had one in so I could hear you guys and I could edit what I have to edit for you guys.
That's actually impressive.
I do that.
So
quite
you're buying
often,
it. You're buying it, huh?
I am buying it.
You're buying it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I am buying it. I also might be.
Ryan's nicer.
I was on a Zoom call yesterday and I got shit for how large this water bottle is.
Wow.
Yaya's is 4 times the size of this.
Yeah, it really is. That is wild. And so there's probably no like water bottle slogans that Sean Payton has that it's like, especially for guys like Justin that have been around for a while. Like, come on. In fact, Justin was asked, "What's the saying? What is Sean Payton preaching to you guys?" And he says everything's about winning. The number one goal is winning here. Just win. We know that. It's as simple as that, and that's not necessarily going to like make fans go crazy as like maybe another motto would, but that probably hits home to grown men who have been through so many different sayings that just don't work. And sometimes those sayings do work. Iron sharpens iron, helped win Super Bowl 50 potentially. But when you've just heard the same thing over and over again, you just get a guy that comes in and says, let's just win, and here's how we're going to win. I'm going to teach you how to win. And that's kind of the second biggest thing with Sean Payton. I asked Greg Penner, what's the biggest thing about Sean Payton that surprised you? And he said the teaching aspect. And Justin Simmons and Cortland Sutton both point to the teaching aspect that Sean Payton brings to this entire team.
Was it when James was on? I think when James was on with Henry and I, he said, insert prominent NFL figure here, told him that Sean Payton's the best teacher of football he's ever seen.
Wow. And that goes that's what makes him a great coach.
100%.
And coaching matters more in the NFL than any other sport.
The other thing, okay, this is an extension of that last takeaway, then I have one more. Justin, for the first time ever, looks a little older.
Oh.
And I think he would say the same thing about me. So again, we've both been in this building
like
for 8 years.
Bags under his eyes, or like
I remember when he was that rookie, he kind of had that like exuberant baby face. Yeah. And ever since then, I've like felt like he was a young player in my head.
Yeah.
Now I realize he's going into year 8.
It's wild.
He's an older veteran in the NFL now.
He's approaching 30, Ryan. It's crazy. You know what 30 does to people.
Terrible things. I hate being 30, 31.
Yeah, I mean, we're over that. So is Justin 30 then? No, he's probably getting right there, though.
He's got to be close.
Who was the number 1 overall pick in that draft, by the way? Justin Simmons.
In 2016, who was the Broncos' first pick? That was Paxton Lynch. So it was that Carson Wentz and...
No, it was Mitch Trubisky, Patrick Mahomes.
No, it was Carson
Wentz.
Oh,
you're right.
It was Carson. Who went above Carson Wentz?
Jared Goff.
Oh, Jared Goff.
Are you sure?
Yes.
I have it up right now. It is.
Because those were the first...
Oh, you have it on your screen. I don't see it.
Those are the first two, and then Paxton was the third quarterback taken like 25 spots later.
Yikes.
Yeah.
And Jared Goff might be dope.
It was good. Yeah.
That's also the same draft as Ezekiel Elliott, Joey Bosa, and Jalen Ramsey.
Okay.
Man, that's wild.
Yes. But anyways, yeah, it just hit me for the first time. Like, oh, he's he's just an older NFL veteran now.
Yeah, it's really true, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Because I agree with you. I always think of him as a younger guy as well. Ryan, do you have one more big takeaway?
Mm-hmm.
How big of a takeaway is this? Because all I have is small potatoes left.
It could go a while.
It could change. Could it change the future of this organization?
No, it's actually more about the past.
Oh, are we going to get emotional?
No.
Okay, well then you won't need to check out our friends over at Kind Love in an emotional way, but in a fun way, you probably do want to check out our friends over at Kind Love, where if you use the code DNVR, you're going to get 25% off in-store purchases. Kind Love already has great prices, and you're going to get 25% off of that. They're one of the first dispensaries in Colorado, established in 2010. Speaking of old, Ryan, I didn't really know dispensaries existed in 2010, almost around for 15 years. So they've got the whole system set up from seed to table, or from seed to sale and to table, bringing their own genetics, growing process, and packaging. It's just like farm to table, except for their products. And they've also got the turbo joint, which is just going to boost you, as Yahir is pumping his fist. He's a big fan of the turbo core. The turbo joint, it's sold at more than 100 stores around the state. So check them out. Their locations in Cherry Creek or North Denver. Mention DNVR and get the exclusive discount of 25% off all Kind Love flower pre-rolls and turbo joint lines. So visit them on their website, kindlove.com, or one of their 2 stores to see everything they've got.
Also, I just on the news, and they're like, I was just handed a breaking news. No, that just happened to me in real life.
Oh, geez.
But it was about the Buffs.
Oh, okay. About the maybe change in conference?
Yeah. Sounds like they're in late discussions of potentially going to the Big 12, which I've been saying for weeks. So
which would be great, right?
I think so. Yeah, I think it's funny because I was really confident about this before Pac-12 Media Days, and then I was talking to someone out there, and they're connected to the program pretty well, and he was just like, yeah, we'll be back here next year. No way they're going to the Big 12. And I was like, I felt like it was the other way around. I was right.
You were right. Did you also see the other news handed across the table?
No, what is it?
Aaron Rodgers took a $35 million pay cut over the next 2 years because of his love for Nathaniel Hackett.
I don't know why, but when you said 35, I expected the next word to be minute. And I was like, what? Like, Aaron Rodgers took a 35-minute pee.
I mean, would you be surprised?
No,
if
no,
anyone's
that's exactly
going
what
to do anything interesting with his body, it would be him.
Yeah, it's like he got this like IV, which pumps you full of liquid, then you pee for 35 minutes.
You pee all of the toxins out of your body.
I was honestly like, anything over 30, you're peeing over 35 minutes.
35 minutes is about as long as his darkness retreat was before he gave up.
It's right. Oh, did he give up?
He gave up.
Wow. I mean, I would have given up too, but I also would have never gone in the first place.
Also, it was just like people like delivered you meals and stuff.
It's not like crazy.
Softest, darkest retreat ever.
True.
Also, shout out to FOCO. If you want to create a darkness retreat in your own room, go to FOCO and buy like 14 Broncos blankets and then just pin them up around your room.
Maybe the blue ones, not the orange ones.
Yes. Allie and I actually,
you've done this before.
Well, one day we were talking about like, how long do you think we'll have Apple products? Because you know how you can like set a reminder on your phone.
Oh yeah.
So I was like, we should set a reminder for 30 years from now.
Wow.
About that we should. I think we were like at the time making a fort. And I was like, 30 years from now, let's set a reminder to make a fort.
Another fort. Do you think you'll remember?
When it hits, yeah.
Do you think you'll remember the day?
I mean, that was like 7 years ago, so.
Oh, so you're getting close.
Yeah.
Speaking of old.
And I still remember.
Wow.
And it's also, he was under Kind Love products while thinking of this idea. Well,
it sounds like
FOCO.
Probably more Breckenridge Distillery.
Yeah, it sounds like he wasn't under Kind Love because he remembers it.
True.
I don't know.
Probably if you hit that
you
turbo
don't remember,
core.
Yeah.
Anyways, go over to our friends at FOCO. Get yourself some blankets, hats, bobbleheads. I mean, basically anything you see Broncos on this set, this pennant.
That's so dope.
All sorts of great stuff you can get over to our friends at FOCO. Use the code DNVR for 10% off.
All right, take us into the past.
Okay. In the past, Colorado was in the Big 12. No, I'm just kidding. We'll talk
only
about
have 21
that.
minutes until that conversation.
21 minutes. We'll talk about the Big 12 on the Buff Show.
Sorry, I distracted. I just thought you should know.
He did. He really distracted. I was full on in Broncos mode.
I'm sorry. I thought you should know.
And
you can send that over the airwaves. Like you can dial it in with some breaking news and talk about it. You don't have to be sending it in messages.
I actually just said, "Hey, RK."
Oh, you told him like, oh, so you did. Okay, fair.
So speaking of the Big 12, you know who played in the Big 12?
A lot of people.
Von Miller,
Yeah.
Aqib Talib,
Yeah.
Chris Harris Jr.
Yeah. Super Bowl 50.
When I got to training camp today,
Dogs.
I was looking out on the field and I was thinking,
damn.
first day of training camp. I remember my first day of training camp. And I was thinking about the players that I got to talk to that day. Von Miller, DeMarcus Ware, Demarius Thomas, John Elway even.
Yeah.
Aqib Talib. I don't remember exactly who all they brought. I know Vaughn was up there for sure, and Demaryius was up there for sure. And then I thought, okay, well, who are they bringing today? And I asked you, and you said they're bringing Justin Simmons and Courtland Sutton. And that was like a very negative wake-up call for me. Now, those aren't the two biggest stars on the Broncos, so that's just like a Broncos decision to not bring up their two biggest stars.
Yep.
Who are the two biggest stars? Two biggest stars are Russell Wilson,
Yep.
who obviously had the worst year of his career last year,
Based off just name alone, that's why he's a big star, not because of play last year.
and Pat Surtain,
Yep.
who is
legit.
the only person that we've talked about right now
Yep.
that actually belongs in that group that I just talked about for my first training camp.
Yep.
Now, my first training camp, that team went 9-7 that year.
Yeah.
And that's with all that star power. I fear that this Broncos team is severely lacking star power. Now, that doesn't mean that they can't be good. Because if Russell Wilson gets back, well, he's back to being an absolute star.
Yep.
And, you would put him in that group. You would put him on that podium.
Yep.
And say, like, he belongs up there with Von Miller, DeMarcus Ware, Demaryius Thomas, and Aqib Talib. Without that, though, Pat Surtain is really the only star on this team.
100%, without a doubt. And you could throw Justin Simmons in, but the safety position just doesn't hit as much. And in terms of star power,
He doesn't have star power.
Yeah,
he's amazing. I love Justin.
right.
He does not have star power.
And you're right, just comparing it to those other teams that had so many stars, and that's why so much boils down to Sean Payton. We talk about the coaching. How much can coaching impact? And the NFL can impact more than any other sport, but can he be that good of a coach? In New Orleans, he was. Not just when he had Drew Brees at the MVP level that like he had in many years, but he took over the second worst offense in the NFL and made him top 10. Top 5 even. He took Drew Brees as a good quarterback, made him a Hall of Fame quarterback. First ballot. He took a 3-13 team and got them to the playoffs and won a playoff game his first year. He's going to have pretty much that big of a task this year with this team.
And he was able to create stars.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, a lot is on the player. But Alvin Kamara, not a highly touted
Third-round
top draft pick. Michael Thomas, not a highly touted top draft pick.
Second-round pick, Courtland Sutton was.
He was able to take guys who are talented and turn them into stars.
Yep.
And so the person I look at is Jerry Jeudy. He absolutely has everything it would take to become a star. In fact, all he has to do is put up numbers, and he's instantly a star.
Yep.
He's already known. He's a name brand. He, is popular on social media. He does things that look cool in TikToks. So all it takes is just highlights and a good season for him.
Yeah.
He's a star. Javonte Williams, a guy with absolute star potential.
Yep.
If he's healthy enough, can Sean Payton make him become a star? On the defensive side of the ball, Justin is always going to be Justin.
Yep.
Pat Surtain is always going to be a star, superstar, probably, I would say.
Yep.
And then around them are a lot of guys who maybe could become that. Randy Gregory, not a star, could be.
Could be.
Zach Allen, not a star, could be.
What about Baron Browning?
Sure, absolutely.
Maybe more of a stretch, but
and this is less on Sean Payton, more on the defensive coaching staff.
Yeah.
But it's so interesting, and I really do look at that offensive side of the ball and say, can Sean Payton give us some stars so that when we come to the first day of training camp next year, we're saying man, what a star-studded cast. Russell Wilson, Jerry Jeudy, Pat Surtain are all coming to the podium, and all three of them were Pro Bowlers last year.
So I completely agree about the guys you mentioned that could be stars on the offensive side of the ball. Let me run through some other ones on offense, not offensive line, because that's really tough to gauge. Tell me if you think they can be stars. Courtland Sutton.
Yes.
On a national perspective, he can be a star.
He's been a Pro Bowler.
Okay. No, it's fair.
He's a name. He's like a name that's been drafted in a lot of fantasy drafts. People know who he is.
Tim Patrick.
I want to say yes, but he's certainly lower on that scale.
Marvin Mims.
Yes.
Greg Dulcich.
Yes.
Okay, and I agree. Look how many potentials there are there. Sean doesn't have to get it out of all of those guys, but if he gets 2 legitimate stars to go along with Russell Wilson making him a star, Broncos offense is going to be just fine.
What about any rookie like Drew Sanders?
Well, we did mention Marvin Mims. Drew Sanders, yeah. I mean, any rookie could become a star because we've seen it. Like we just talked about, 3rd-round picks, 5th-round picks, 7th-round picks. Anyone can become a star. You're right. I mean, if you get Jerry, that's like the one I feel like you gotta get.
Yep.
Gotta get Jerry. And then you add like a Greg Dulcich.
Yep.
Now I can't. It's so funny because James Palmer was so high. Was so
They're
high
homies,
on.
man. JP and RK, like
They were sitting next to each other during the press conference.
They rode through Vegas, and they're like, "Yo, Vegas has never seen us." Like,
That's my guy, Jimmy Palm Trees. Anyways, he was so high on
Speaking
Greg Dulcich.
of, stay tuned tomorrow.
Yeah. And he was like talking about how Sean Payton, he's so good with these types of guys. And then I just remember the Mike Kliss blurb.
Yeah.
He was like, Sean Payton doesn't like his tight ends with what was it, short shorts and
Long
curls.
hairs. Yeah.
I was like, well, I hope he does because Dulcich needs to be really good.
He's someone to watch this training camp for sure.
Yep.
Okay, any other small bits before we talk to the people?
Nope.
Because I've got a couple of small ones that actually, let's just hit those right now because I know we got buffs and I want to make sure we get to these because I think Sean Payton had a nice little, not necessarily jab, but insight that helped the Broncos and hurt a player today. But first, got to tell you about our friends over at Backus and Shanker. Make sure to give them a call, 222-2222 if you need to sue. Hit the 2 because they will help you if you're in any injury case, whether it's automobile, whether it's pedestrian, bike, a bus is involved. Make sure to give Backus and Shanker, our friends, a call or check them out at coloradolaw.net where they've won over $1 billion for their clients. And speaking of money, you don't pay them when you call them for a consultation. You don't pay them when they work on their case. You only pay them when they win for you. So it's not even your money. You don't have to pay out of pocket. So give them a call at Backus and Shanker at 222-2222. They win big time for you. Yes.
Great comment from Alex. Let's get to 100 likes before the end of the show. Let's step up our like game in this training camp.
I agree. Yeah.
Like,
camp is here.
Camp's here. Everyone's in the best shape of their life. Everyone needs their thumb in the best shape of its life at just clicking that thumbs up for us.
Yep. You can do it.
Also, I'm going to keep pumping this every day because I want to do this.
Yeah.
And we need you guys to come with us.
Yep.
Go sign up. Yeah. Make sure it's added to the description, the link to go to Chicago with us. We're going to Chicago for Broncos Bears. We want you guys to come. We're going to get on a bus from the airport. We're going to go to the airport, meet up there.
Yeah.
Probably have a concourse beer. Then we're going to be on the flight. I'm going to be like, hey, see my guy back there? That's Iceman. Send him a beer on ice. They're going to be like, cool. We're going to hang out on the plane. We're going to get off the plane. We're going to get onto a bus together. I'm going to be like, bus driver, take us to Johnny's Beef. It's the best in the city. It's not even in the city. It's a little outside. It's like a little side gym. We're going to go to Johnny's Beef. We're going to get our beefs dipped. It's amazing.
Getting your beef dipped.
I know.
Wow.
I know.
Coming off a plane, that's impressive.
We're all going to go to the same hotel. We're going to hang out there. We're going to be like, all right, let's all go fresh.
Beef dip there too.
Yeah. We're going to be like, all right, let's all go freshen up. Let's meet back down here for a lobby drink around 6 o'clock. We're going to come down. We're going to meet. We're going to have a lobby drink. We might get another beef dipped after that. Then we're going to go out to like a local bar. We might even do a live show just for shits and giggles while we're there. Then we're going to wake up in the next morning. We're going to go to a tailgate lot. We're going to tailgate with all of us, all of our friends. And then some of our friends from CHGO and hang out with them too. Then we're going to go to the game. We're all going to be sitting in the same section. Zach will be in the press box, but I'll be with you guys. We're probably going to have a couple drinks there. Then we're going to go back. We're going to get on the flight back together. We're going to come back to Denver.
Sounds like a hell of a weekend.
It's maybe the best weekend ever.
And October,
the Broncos
at the beginning of October, and the Broncos should win that. They're favored in that, early projections.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
And you get to see an electric team on the other side, too.
Yeah, I mean, at least an interesting one.
Yeah, it's very true. Man, sign up. Let's do this.
Anyone who went to London with us will tell you, come with us.
A lot of people went to London. That's much further.
Yes.
So let's make this happen.
Let's go to Chicago.
Let's say you don't live in Denver, so you can't take the flight with us. We have other packages out there where you can do the hotel and stay and all that. So check out the link in our description.
Chicago dogs.
Oh, man.
Pequod's Pizza.
You're killing me. All I had was chicken today. I'm ready for some more food, and now you're talking about all this beef getting dipped and all that.
I had a breakfast shake and then just chicken nuggets.
Oh,
2 venti coffees.
Oh, yeah. But you're here. We need you.
I don't know.
If
you're
you go,
coming.
if you go, I'm out.
It depends because we actually have a studio there in producers.
True.
Wow. Okay. So what I was teasing before, Sean Payton talked about the Broncos signing Brett Maher. Maher? Is that it? Is that what we're going with? Brett Maher.
I don't know what it is.
Brett talked about the Broncos signing Brett, and he said the reason they didn't sign him when he was brought in for the tryout a couple of months ago was because there was a little differences in the contract between what he wanted and what the team wanted to give him. Then 10 minutes after Sean Payton stopped talking, the contract details came out.
Isn't that interesting?
You know what the contract details were, Ryan? You don't have to give me numbers.
Little?
Minimum.
Yeah.
He got the minimum from the Broncos with guess how many guarantees?
None.
No guarantees. So the Broncos won. 2 months ago, Brett said, nah, you're going to have to pay me if you want me. And Broncos said, nope, we'll just sign Elliott Fry. We're going to play this long game with you. And they won because Brett Maher takes a minimum deal.
They were like, bro, you missed 17 extra points in one game.
He's like, but it was just one game. And,
And that's what Sean Payton said.
Man. Yeah.
Today, once they got the deal done, he was like, he had one bad game.
Yeah, exactly. But then he used that against him in contract negotiations, I'm sure.
Yep.
But he's going to be the Broncos kicker there. So that was kind of a fun thing. The stadium, they put $100 million into the stadium, Ryan. It's going to be done before training camp or before preseason.
Good job.
Yes, very good job.
Shows you that money can even make construction projects move faster.
It's very true. And Damani Leach, they unveiled the helmets yesterday, which we broke down. He said they're already working on new uniforms.
And we knew that, or we had a good idea about that. Now, this is just a theory, but man, am I sick of people complaining about the uniform when I talk about the helmet being dope. Those are just two completely different things.
Very different.
I'm like, hey, this helmet's cool. And everyone's like, yeah, but those pants suck. And I'm like, well, yeah, I'm just talking about the helmet, which is really cool. And they're like, but the pants. So here's what happened. Theory.
Okay.
The Broncos wanted a new helmet to unveil this year because everyone's doing something cool with their helmet.
Yep.
They would have loved to do a whole new alternate jersey to go along with their new helmet, like, let's say, Tennessee is doing.
Yep.
But Nike is already using a lot of resources on the Denver Broncos because they're trying to unveil new uniforms, hopefully as soon as next year. So they said, hey, look, we're not going to design you a new alternate uniform just to design you a whole new set next year. So, hit up whoever does the helmets, get yourself a new helmet. We'll roll out a whole new home, away, and alternate next year. That
makes a ton of sense. I can completely buy that. And also, they started working on the alternate helmet the minute the NFL said you can have an alternate helmet. So that was their first priority, was to get something out this year, and then I think they will have their sights set on a new jersey. I imagine it's going to be next year.
I don't understand why people are complaining so much. Like, the helmet is great.
We want more.
Let's just be happy that they got the helmet right in a way that is just like in tune with what the fan base likes.
I can tell you why though. Like, because the team is bad, and you see something cool, you want more of it because you want to feel good for once because you haven't seen winning football.
That's fair. And then I also saw some people be like, enough about the helmets, like, just win a game. And it's like, well, sorry to tell you, they don't have a game for over a month.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And if they didn't do the helmets and then lost, well, then people probably would have wanted the helmets. They're never just going to have everyone happy. But for the most part, I'd say the rollout of the new helmet was good.
It's great.
Last little takeaway from today, Ryan, and tell me if this is something we should read into. We had the owner speak. We had the president speak. We had the head coach speak. We had some players speak. The only top executive that didn't speak today was George Paton. And typically, at this day, you have the general manager speak. Now, typically, we have a barbecue catered to us. So there were some things that were different. So is George Paton not speaking today just something that was different because it was different? Or is it something that was different that we should read into?
Didn't someone not talk recently because there was a golf tournament or something?
Greg Penner's been in some golf tournaments.
Yeah, something happened and he wasn't there because he's at a golf tournament. Maybe George Payton just had a golf tournament today.
That would be a bad look. I think the owner of the team can miss something for golf. Not quite sure the GM can.
I'm pretty sure John Elway missed a few things for golf. I'm mostly kidding. That I actually think would be a good thing for George Payton if the reason he didn't talk today is because he was at a golf tournament. Because I think the reason that we're led to believe is much worse for him, which is just like, he's not really part of what's going on as much anymore.
I mean, we were told like to be fair, they said select executives were talking today.
Wasn't it something else? I want to get the exact terminology correct.
I do know that was said in the media room at some point, but in the official email, that's probably good to point out. And you're pulling it up right here.
It was select players and team leadership media availability.
Team leadership media availability. So if someone wanted to spin it and say,
but the select could apply to players and leadership just for semantics sake.
Yeah, that's very true. I just think it's interesting, and I think it's just something that we follow along.
And it also is more interesting because it falls in line with a theory we already had.
Right, exactly.
It's what I call like anchor bias. When you already have an idea and then something can line up with that idea, you're more likely to think that it does.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean it does.
Right.
Like I said, could have been at a golf tournament today. Or he could be getting cut out of the organization.
Which one's worse for his future with the job? He was at a golf tournament and missed today, or he's getting cut out of the organization.
What if he was at the golf tournament because the team's like, we don't need you, it's fine.
Who knows? But it can only be one of two things. Golf tournament, getting cut. No, I'm just kidding. Maybe he was busy. Maybe he's making a trade as we speak.
It's true. And maybe he talks tomorrow, and then we're saying it's no big deal. We're not making it a big deal. But it is something that I think most people noticed in the media room, so it's worth telling you guys.
Gotta just jot it down in the notepad.
And then we'll look at the notepad at the end of the year and say, wow, this is pages long about George Payton. He's probably getting fired. Or we'll say, oh, it's only 4 things. Like, he's fine. Yep. We probably don't have time for comments today with buffs in 3 minutes. Is that right?
Yeah.
Want to give shout-outs to The Count.
We can do one comment.
Well, let me give shout-outs to The Count, to Gun 1989, to Toronto Bronco, and to to Kai, not Kyler. They all in the comment sections congratulated me, so really appreciate that support as well.
Congratulations, man.
Yes, thank you.
I was shocked how many people at Broncos knew you got married.
Yeah,
people that I didn't even know were congratulating you.
People, Ryan, you're kind of a star when you come now.
Wow, you think so?
Yeah, I mean, people are like, whoa, look who decided to show up. Like, thanks for greeting us with your presence today.
Yeah, even D-Mac said, I didn't know you came to these things anymore.
You're like, I didn't know you came either.
I was like, I didn't want it. No, I'm just kidding.
But Zach begged for some help.
Blame Henry. You're, like I said, I've never even seen some of these people that were congratulating you on your wedding. I'm like, how do they know that?
Twitter, probably.
Maybe. The person that I'm thinking of specifically, I can't imagine them being very active on Twitter.
Wow, I don't know who you're talking about. We might have to end the show so I can find out.
They're a Threads kind of people, and it was there.
Threads.
Definitely not Threads. Tomorrow, Jimmy Palm Trees on the show.
Oh, let's go, baby. And second day of training camp.
Yes, second day of pre-first training camp.
So tomorrow, are we talking about day 2 of training camp, or are we previewing real training camp?
I don't know. This is going to make my head explode.
Maybe a mix. Can we just get to Monday when, that's the last first day?
Yeah.
Because that's first day of pads.
Okay.
We just get there.
Let's just call that day 1.
Yeah, I'm down with that. But that's actually going to be day 3 and day 5.
So this is actually day -3.
Day -4.
This
day
is
-4.
Pre-training camp, like pre-season. This is pre-training camp.
But we started the show saying this was training camp.
We're all confused. We'll see you tomorrow.